Hello out there in YouTube land. I'm going to do something a little new. I'm going to start doing some TV reviews. And for the first show that I'm going to do, I am going to review Monday night's season premiere of the new Magnum PI. I grew up watching the original Magnum PI with Tom Selleck, and I loved that show. Had Magnum had the Ferrari and the house. It was incredible. It was a well done show. It was well acted, well written, and it was entirely 80s. I mean, what more can you say? It was And then they had to come and try and do a new version, like they're doing with everything. They have to change everything around. Yeah, okay, from what I remember of the original pilot, Thomas Magnum was investigating the murder of a good friend of his. And so this one, they have him investigating the murder of a good friend of his. So I guess this sort of lifted the original pilot plot and brought it into this one. The original Thomas Magnum was a Vietnam vet. Of course, this was in the 80s, so you can do a Vietnam vet. Magnum and his counterparts in this one are a vet of the Afghan wars and stuff like that, which makes sense. Bringing up modern times, there can't be a Vietnam vet in this one because they'd be a lot older. So that in and of itself wasn't a problem. In the original series, Magnum never met Robin Masters. He had talked to him on the phone, but Magnum wasn't even sure that Robin Masters himself existed. There was always the question as to whether Higgins, the major domo of Robin's Nest, the house that Magnum stayed at, was in fact Robin Masters. It was just there was questions as to whether Robin Masters was a real person or that Robin Masters was Higgins himself. In this one, there's no question that Robin Masters is a real person. Robin Masters was a reporter embedded with Magnum's group in the Afghan War, and became a novelist and used Magnum's group squad as the basis for his novels. And that clearly sets it up at the beginning of the show. There's the iconic car, the 80s Ferrari, which makes a small appearance in this one, or more of an appearance in this, but there's more than one Ferrari in this one, which is kind of ridiculous. And another one of the big changes is, despite having never met, in the original series, having never met Robin Masters himself, Robin Masters hired Magnum to be the chief of security to make sure that Robin's Nest couldn't be infiltrated by other people. And he's just the head of security. And there's a kind of a sort of a tenuous relationship, possibly because, Higgins could, say, hey, I don't want him out. And there was always the possibility of Magnum not having a place to stay anymore. But in this one, Magnum being the basis for the central character of his books, there is no tension in that anymore. Which leads me to the next point. Higgins. In the original series, Higgins was a older English gentleman who had his little foibles, his little things. Ex-British military. He and Magnum rarely saw eye to eye on things. And, Magnum had to fight tooth and nail for any little extra perks from being at Robin's Nest. This time, they make Higgins not only a woman, but a hot woman who is ex-British intelligence. And they start out with the possibility of them not really liking each other, but you can tell there is a hint of attraction between the two, and they're setting this up to them. Will they or won't they get involved? And at some point, I'm sure they're going to get involved, and that is just, it's going to ruin the whole dynamic of the show. There were certain things that made Magnum work, and it was the tension between Higgins and Magnum, that the tension between the two of them drove things forward. And this one, it's the first episode, and she's already doing favors for him. And she's kind of looking longingly at him when he's not looking. And it just, you can tell where they're going with this. And I have little hopes that this is going to last much longer than a season. Maybe 2. But who knows? It could last a lot longer than that. But if people who didn't watch the original show latch on and like it might stay longer. But I don't know. I'm going to give this, solely on the first episode of the show, a 2 out of 5. And I don't really recommend the show. It wasn't that exciting. It really wasn't all that interesting. It was a bad rehash of their first series premiere, and the characters weren't as interesting in just of a more updated, PC way, because you have the female character who's an ultra badass, the male character who is not as competent as he could be, and the sidekicks who are just, nah. And at least they still have the dogs, but even the dogs aren't as interesting as they were in the original. So, all right, that's what I think of this one. So let me know if you watched it and what you thought of it, and talk to you later. Bye.